And I'm Cecily.
And today we're just going to answer some frequently asked questions or things that people ask us quite a bit. And the first one is how many takes does it take for us? This is a mouthful.
To record a podcast.
To record a podcast. And the answer is...
One.
That's all we do.
Yeah, we just roll. We go
literally
for it.
sit down, Max says action, and we go.
And that's part of why we wanted to name it Unfiltered, because
it truly is unfiltered.
Our content of what we say, but then also we just want it to be exactly what we think, exactly what we're talking about in the moment. So it's only one.
It's only one. And that comes along with no edits. Like nothing that we say, which is ironic because I say a lot of things that, should be edited out. But nothing is edited out. And I don't know if it's just because I'm getting good at like editing myself before I say something.
Yeah.
Or, but no, nothing is edited out. You guys aren't missing out on anything that we have said. You see all the bloopers. And then the third cool thing is that a friend of mine recently was like, you know what? I finally saw you and Cecily together. And he's like, you literally have the same types of conversations in person.
Yeah.
He's like, it's fun just to watch you go back and forth, and it's like I'm watching real-time version of a podcast. And I was like,
yeah, that was a really good compliment. I love when you told me that. I was like, okay, that's exactly what we want for our podcast. So he knew you, obviously.
Well,
I kind of knew,
yeah.
I kind of knew him, but then when he was with us, literally real time, he had already listened to a podcast, right?
Yeah, he listened to most.
So then he was just like, wow, that was actually like what the podcast, that's how it, if you were with us right now in this room, you would feel like you were just talking to us.
I feel like a couple people would probably say that too.
Yeah.
Like some of the people who have heard us go back and forth on like random topics or just, I don't know, things
rants or whatever, passion, I don't know.
If you were in a car with me and Cecily, this is exactly what you would get. Maybe like a little bit more excited, probably some jams in the background, but still you're likely going to get this.
Yeah, that's so true. I love that. Yeah.
And then recently, I guess not recently, but a while ago, we had talked about like things or questions people wanted to know about us, and a lot of them came back about like careers. So the first one is if you were actually, should we start with what you're doing now? And that way we're saying like
if they don't know already, which I know some people do know already, or if you've watched previous, you might know. But I'm a strength conditioning coach at KU.
And I am a grad student at KU, so I teach group exercise. Well, I'm a graduate teaching assistant, so I'm a GT. I teach classes. I teach fitness classes at the rec center, and I've been a tutor in athletics. So.
Nice. Yeah, and I'm also getting my
master's. You should, I don't know.
But anyways, because I feel like I'm working first, and then that's coming on the long side of it.
And mine is like school then work.
Yeah,
yours is work then school.
Exactly. So, but we met each other at KU, but then also kind of through church. So that's how we met each other, and it wasn't. I'm just gonna tag this along.
Go ahead. Because
someone asked me this the other day too. Someone was like, how did you and Katie actually meet again? And I know we've like told that story so many times, but we actually didn't meet very long ago. Like it was a little over a year ago. So it just we just started hanging out, and it was like it happened all kind of pretty fast. So it's cool.
Yeah,
cool story.
Cool. So what is your favorite thing about your current job?
I love working with a college age. I love it. I love moving around as well. Like even today, I was just so thankful that I'm like not just glued to my desk. There's some days
I could do a desk.
There's some days you get caught like doing computer work more than others, but the flexibility to go up and run a group session, move around, be able to go walk outside in between groups, or there's days that you do feel a little bit more stuck to the chair, but
it's literally like a routine, but like with movement.
Yes,
and exactly. I think that's why I like what I do too, is like every semester it's something new, and like I get into a routine, but there's always something like slightly different about it.
Yeah,
that way I'm not like
semester
stuck
to
in my
semester.
ways.
Exactly. Semester to semester, everything like changes a little bit. So I would say, the people, obviously, my coworkers are awesome, and then just the movement, the activity that I get to do.
I would agree. I really like the people that I work with. I think my grad group is probably one of the coolest groups on campus. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. And then another thing that I like about it is just the college kids. Like the amount of people I get to come in contact with at all times is really cool.
Yeah.
So some of the like classes within the department that I teach in can be upwards of like 50 to 250, and it's like I get to meet at minimum that many people
all of those
every semester, which is why I feel like I know a lot, or I know of a lot of people. I shouldn't say I know them, but I know of a lot of people. and just to come in contact with them and like make connections with a few of them, and then you see them go into like different classes and different semesters, and then you almost get to like follow them through their journey. Like, all right, you and I are on the same path together. You're a freshman, I'm a first year, and then like all of a sudden now they're graduating, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like you're gonna fly now, and here I am like, I have to fly now, like we're gonna fly together. So that's just really cool just to see their journey and to connect with a few of them. But if you couldn't do what you're doing now, what would your job be?
Goodness gracious. I know. I feel like I always second guess what I want to say.
Say them all.
Yeah, I don't know. I really used to love drawing houses and that type of thing growing up. So like interior design, architecture, I think that's super fun. Anything within like real estate that has to do with houses, I think is really awesome. So
what people don't know is you're really artsy.
Yeah, I kind of have an artsy side. It kind of like yeah, it like spurs up some, and then sometimes it just is like, don't
you
do as much.
can paint like the most beautiful portraits ever.
It's just so funny, like how
she showed me one. Side story. She showed me one time, and I was like, no, you didn't paint that. She painted that, and I was like, okay. And then she showed me like play-by-play a bunch. She's like, hey, how's it look? I was like, looks good. And then she showed me another picture. I'm like, so you didn't lie to me. Like you are for real a good artist.
Well, it's just funny because my art teacher in high school was like trying to convince my mom to be my mom to make me like be an art teacher. Not that my mom was going to make me be anything, but it was just funny. They would always talk and she'd be like, you shouldn't have Cecily go to art school or something. And I never really wanted to do that, but yeah, I guess like I had this little flair of art seaside. Yeah, which is fun. It is like a fun like stress reliever for me.
Yeah. And you're so creative.
Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like I'm creative. It's super weird. It goes in spurts, I feel like sometimes I'm like, oh yes, I want to paintbrush in my hand. I want to just like, or I want to think of these ideas to do.
But then it's not forced. If you were like an art student, I feel like maybe it would
exactly.
be forced. You know, like, oh, I have to do this project. So what am I gonna do?
Right. Exactly.
But now that you're like, you can do it whenever you want. It's free flowing.
Yeah. So I feel like something. I mean, but I do think that like the interior design architecture is like a creative outlet for that. So I think I've gravitated towards.
Yeah.
I've gravitated towards that, not just like painting specifically.
I like that. I was never good at art.
Wow.
I feel like you're like everything that I'm not, and then it's like,
yeah, it's so funny, it's so true. Like
you're artistic, and I'm like, yeah, let's draw a stick figure.
And then no, I love too when you're just like, I'm flexible. I mean, you're flexible.
I'm flexible. You're strong.
Yeah, and then whatever. I feel like there's always something.
Or when we were talking about in Florida, how you're spontaneous, and I'm like, I need a plan.
You're like my sister. I need 2 weeks at least.
2 weeks at least to plan my life.
I'm like, okay, let's go tomorrow.
Yeah, you're like, oh, do you want to go to Japan tomorrow? Not really, but like, yes, I do, but I can't.
Yeah, like I feel like I have things to just figure out.
But if I was a flight attendant,
which is okay, so if I was gonna ask her the same question.
I would literally be a flight attendant. Like, if something in my life doesn't work out, I'm going to be a flight attendant. Like,
honestly, I can totally see that.
Oh, I could just be like, what would you like to drink? Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am.
How about the person that was on our last flight, like making those jokes on the intercom?
This would be Katie. Would work with Southwest, and I would be the one to give the spiel, but you know that I'm going to like rap it, or I'm going to have some sort of cheeky comment in it. I'm going to be playing rock, paper, scissors with people.
That's so funny. I was thinking that, which I never told Katie this when we were on our flight because I was probably tired, but this last week we went to Florida, and there was a guy that was just making jokes over the intercom, and he was just a spunky flight attendant, and I was just like, I don't know why I didn't say anything to you. I was just like, yeah, that's Katie, and I just like kept to myself. That's funny.
I just find people who will like tell me jokes, and I'm like, I should be your friend.
Yeah,
I should be your friend. But yeah, that would be me, just because, especially with, I don't want to like name drop or brand drop, but like for sure Southwest, because they like let you be funny, and you know people enjoy that stuff. Like you're on a crowded flight, like breathing down some stranger's neck, and
make sure you're social distance. But as soon as you're on the flight, let's just be like this. Exactly.
But for real, I think I would just be a flight attendant, mainly because I'm addicted to travel. I love going places, and it's somewhat of a routine with movement.
You know? It is.
So
a little bit. Yeah. Wow, that's so true. Okay, so was there another question about jobs, careers?
Yeah. Or the other one with careers is like, how do we practice faith within our careers?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for me is just like trying to love everybody, like, and there, especially within teaching or within coaching, like there are people that are easier to love, harder to love than others.
Yeah.
So I think the hardest thing for me specifically is like being consistent.
Mm-hmm.
So just like showing up and like loving people where they're at and being there and kind of trying to be less selfish, because it's super easy to be like, I'm already having a bad day. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, how do I be a good coach? How do I be consistent to somebody who is struggling or is hard to love, and like showing up and still being there for them. So I think that's my biggest thing about how I try to like just show my faith in my work.
I feel like I'm the same way, because there's always the response of like, what would Jesus do? And it's always, he would love first. And so I feel like no matter the circumstance of anyone, I just feel like if I just show love to people, and it doesn't necessarily have to be understanding, because I might not understand everyone's situation, but as long as I like show you that I love you, and sometimes it does have to be tough love. Sometimes I do have to hold people accountable, even though I know that they're going through a lot. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, that has come back, and people are like, you know, I really appreciate you holding me accountable for these things. Yeah. And so that and just showing empathy in the moment, because there was actually somebody who later on told me, like, I'm so thankful that, like, this is how you responded as opposed to this, because I was really scared to approach you about it. And I was like, I don't even remember how I responded to you. Yeah. And they sent me a screenshot of the email, and I was like, that doesn't even sound like anything that I would say. Yeah. But, like, I know that's me because it's a literal screenshot of my email. And they were like, it just meant a lot that that's how you responded. And in the moment, I was like, so it matters how you respond. Yeah. And I'm very much so like, I feel like deadlines and time frames are a method of like respect. Not only for like the class as a whole, but for my time as well. Like, I have it due at this point because I can grade things at this point, or, you know, that's how I've structured my classes. And so having someone turn something in late is almost like, I understand that you had something, but it's also gonna put me out as well. Yeah. So both of us aren't getting what we want in the moment. And so just being flexible and understanding that, like, I can't hold everyone to the same standards. Like, yes, this is the standard, but I understand that, like, you might need a little bit more accommodation than this person who doesn't need any help at all. So I think just learning that, like, I can be strict with myself, but that doesn't mean that I need to, like, hold everyone to, like, these little boxes. So, like, allowing other people to be flexible. Yeah. Because it's not affecting me in a way, I guess. Like, what you do with your flexibility is your thing, and I'll keep to my little schedule.
I like that, being flexible. And I liked what you said earlier, like, you're not always going to understand, but I've heard someone say, like, you can like empathize with their exact feeling. You might not understand their situation, but like if someone's like, hey, I'm sad because of X, Y, and Z, you might not have had that exact same situation, but you understand what it's like to be very sad. And so then it's like, now I can step in and try to sympathize and empathize with your like actual feeling. And I was like, that's really cool.
Another way that I've heard it, or it's kind of like a situation, like if there's a difference of opinion or morals, values, whatever, I can respect you without having to accept that as my own truth. So it's like, I respect where you're coming from, but like, that's not what's real for me. So I think that's helpful as well, because that's just like shoving people in little boxes again. Yeah,
no, I really like that. I feel like that's something that could be talked about so much more, because a way of like loving other people is truly like not pushing this agenda on them, like what you're doing on them, whether they have different feelings towards something, different opinions towards something. Like for students, like they have excuses about it's like it's super easy to do that because we're selfish naturally human beings. So like, I love that. The way to love somebody is let them be flexible, you know, try to understand them and love them where they're at.
I think one of the hardest things about being young in this profession, though, is the things like students will tell you, because they like, if they know that they can trust you, they will be like brutally honest with like the things that they're doing, and like, oh, I didn't get this homework assignment done because I was at a concert, or because I was not in the right mindset, or, you know, they'll literally tell you why, and you're like, okay, so do I like reward your truthfulness, or do I like say, hey, maybe you should make better choices? And then there's like a conversation that's to be had. Like, I appreciate you being honest, but like, that's not a good excuse.
Yeah.
And so sometimes like you can
That's
get
so hard.
really like shoved into these little, I don't want to say like holes, or like these hard spots of like,
spots, for sure.
How do you approach each student? And then there's some students who will tell you some really heavy stuff, and you're like, I don't know what to do with it. You know, like,
well,
what do I do with
obviously
my
they're not
hands?
obviously they're not telling other close people in their life, or do they have anybody close in their life, and then you feel some type of obligation to carry that burden, which I do think you have,
or just check up on them.
Which I do think we have somewhat of the ability to do, but it's very hard again because we do have a lot of students, and you know, just imagine if there was a lot more of that going on than there is. But that's so true. I think the bottom line, I think kind of for both of us, is we just want to.
I just want to
take care
love
of
people.
Oh, love people. Yeah, like we want to display like.
I feel like there's so much lack of love, and people put conditions on love, and like, if you don't, I won't.
Don't even get me started on that.
Like conditions on. I think that's what makes me the most mad. Is like people.
No, it really makes me mad.
Like,
I'm actually mad right now.
I'm actually mad right now. Like that. I think that's why I go above and beyond for people, is because I want to show them like, I'm not playing around. Like, I am serious about helping you. I will check up on you. I will do whatever it is. And I don't want to say, like, it's to force my love on you or to, like, prove myself. It's literally to show you, like, genuine, unconditional love. Like, no matter what you do, like, I will be here for you. So I like to quote Tupac all the time. It's like...
Tupac?
Yeah, Tupac. Because obviously you can... get burned if you like love people and you're always there for them, always doing good things for them. But Tupac, and I'm gonna say it totally wrong, but I'll do it from my own, like, I want to see you eat, but sometimes it's not necessarily at my table. Yeah. And so like I want to see you thrive, and so sometimes that's where that like tough love comes in. Like, yes, I'm no longer associated with you, but I still want to see you thrive. I'm still gonna check up on you. But we're not going to be as close as we used to be. But regardless, like, and that's what I mean. Like, even if something goes wrong, you don't need to unlove or uncare for somebody. Like, you can still care for them and them not be in your immediate life.
Yeah, that's so true. I feel like, oh goodness, I feel like a lot of things.
On love.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of things could be just multiple podcasts in itself. But I am a big, like, I can see conditional love everywhere, and it's just everybody's out for themselves, and so as soon as somebody does something that disappoints them, which we're human and we're going to do, and things come up, and to have a lack of understanding is very uncaring and unkind and not loving at all.
Exactly.
And so when people were like, especially, you know, if people claim to have a faith and then they say, oh, but I don't like this person is for these reasons, and it's like, okay, well, are you truly loving him through like hard things? And
love is not easy.
No,
and it's not convenient. That's like the biggest thing. Like, love is not convenient at all.
No, exactly. It's literally the furthest thing from selfish. So, like, if you're choosing to love somebody, it's going to come with some hard things. And most relationships, like whether it's a serious like romantic relationship or a friendship, like they're going to have rocks. And like, if you can't get over those and work through those, like it's probably a shallow relationship. Like, I'm not saying it's not. I'm not saying you don't have those friendships that don't ever have bumps, but like, you know, I think you're going to have to talk about hard things and, you know, or go through hard things together or whatnot to actually have a deeper layer, like, of, you know.
Well, that just builds trust, too. Like, I trust that, like, you will unconditionally love me.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is my girl, mama. My girl. That's how I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, takeaways today.
Takeaways today is that...
It only takes one take.
It only takes one take.
No edits.
This is really us. This is really us.
And we can say that because a lot of people have been like that, man.
Yeah, we have
Katie and Cecily.
We've really had people tell us that. This is very us. And
authenticity is at an all-time high.
If we couldn't work at KU or any other university,
Cecily would be on my flight with her spontaneous artistic self.
I would be. I'm definitely spontaneous. I'd probably be trying to move around.
She would be designing my house.
But I would be doing something forms of designing houses and. Maybe just selling real estate. Maybe investing in real estate. Maybe
we do love
flipping houses. I really think I like the idea of flipping houses. Now I just need money. That's the problem.
How do we get that money?
Yeah, and it's just gotta find the money. But then she would be a flight attendant.
We'd be going a lot of
That'd
places.
be a main point. Yeah, we'd go a lot of places. I'd be on our companion pass.
How? Yeah, you would.
Yeah, I'd be on our companion pass.
And then you'd be in the background. That's my best friend.
Yeah, that'd be me.
Other things is like showing our faith in our work. Both of us truly just try to show everyone unconditional love, not in a way that like taxes us or is like not obsessive, but like excessive maybe.
Yeah.
But just
genuine. It's definitely not excessive.
Genuine caring.
I would say like anybody who knows us knows that we're not excessive ever. I don't think.
No, I don't think so.
We can be energetic on certain days more than others, but I feel like when we do just try to genuinely care about people. So.
Yeah, we do. And with that, don't put conditions on love.
Don't put conditions on love, and that can be pending another podcast.
You can separate yourself from people, but like
there's healthy boundaries. But then also just being confident in who you are and not needing somebody's approval for how you love people too.
Exactly.
Or why you love.
So that's good. That was a wrap on some frequently asked questions.
Yeah, that was.
This better not get edited out because we don't do edits. But one of the things that I wanted to say is what the, and then say FAQ together. What the? You get it?
Yes, I did not know that. We were doing that. FAQ.
I'm gonna figure out a different title, but I just wanted you to know that.
Just want everybody know if you made it to this point,
you know that it's not edited because that's not coming out. All right, well, okay. That's a wrap.
Oh, how do we usually do that?
And stop.
Is that how we usually do that?
Yeah,
Oh, he's got the cool pictures now.
Oh, yeah.